All right, well, we are at 7:01. We do have a quorum. I say we get rolling here. We can always go back to citizen comments and concerns if needed, but I guess as Julian is the only citizen who's not on a member, do you have any comments or concerns for us, Julian?
Uh, Not to contribute at this point. I just noticed on the agenda that we had three items that touched on various elements of projects that I've worked on. So
Yes.
thought I'd join and
Excellent.
see what I can contribute to those
Yeah.
items. So
I'm glad you're here too, because I do have a couple things. There's a couple things here that I know I've been languishing in my court too. So I think that's great that you're here. So thank you.
no problem.
Okay, so next item, the approved agenda. I know, Richard, you had sent forwarded some communication from Efficiency Vermont. I did add that to my own agenda over here, so that'll be in the meeting minutes. I don't know if anybody had anything other than that to add to the agenda. Can let me know now, or we can get to it when we get to other business. Either way. All right, hearing none. Okay, and then I didn't do meeting minutes for June because June we had our event with Veep and CX. So if anybody had any comments on the May minutes, let me know. Otherwise, I think those are good to go.
I move that we accept the May meeting minutes.
Excellent.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
2, 3, 4, and all right, great. Thank you.
Jim's here, so I don't know if you want to go back.
Oh yeah. Hey Jim. You got any citizen comments or concerns?
Not really, just a good job on that last energy meeting. It's too bad we had a bad turnout, but the concept was good, and I hope you do it again.
Thanks, Jim.
Good job.
Appreciate
You
that.
guys did a good
Great.
job.
Okay, that actually rolls in nicely to the that first sort of item on the agenda after this administrative stuff. Just a brief wrap up on the event. We had, kind of just like Jim said, maybe a little disappointing attendance, but really grateful. I know I'm really grateful to Adelia and Janet for putting it on. They were superstars. I mean, they were really invested in it, and so really grateful to them. And I just want to say thanks to everybody who was there on our side too to help with the setup and breaking down and packing up and everything. Really grateful for that, and also for Richard for bringing his cooler. That was great. Thanks for that. And then the other thing too, just to wrap up on that was I know Janet with Veep had said she had a couple of other modules that they do that Veep does for future events. So I owe her an email, or she might have emailed me and I never responded. I can't remember, but I owe a communication to her to see what the other modules are and to see if we can schedule another one. I think, we could probably do, and I'll put my hand up and say it's probably on me, but we could probably do better with the scheduling, obviously, with the conflicting with the band, and then of course there was the chicken barbecue, which is a unique sort of situation. So, maybe if we found a better, a better time or a better time of the year, maybe we could have a little bit better turnout. So, I do owe Janet a communication on that, so I'll get back to everybody with that once I know what those modules are, and we can start kicking around ideas for another one. If the group thinks that's a good idea. I mean, I don't want to, if we think that's useful. So. Anybody else have any thoughts on the event? Anybody who was there? Any comments, thoughts?
For what it's worth, I thought it was really interesting and enjoyable. So thanks for putting it on.
Absolutely. Okay, so that'll wrap that one up. All right, the next item. So this is one of the Julian ones. The town energy plan grant, the block grants. So as far as I understand it, and Julian, please interrupt me at any point. The grant was awarded to the towns that applied for it. And then we learned very recently, I think, that it was actually going to be funded by the Department of Energy, the DOE, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so I guess the next steps on the Regional Planning Commission side is to get Julian engaged as the administrator, I guess, of the actual project, and then the big item for us is the Bristol Energy Committee. Is Julian had sent out a survey for us to look at and fill in things that we think are important that we want to have these energy plans focus on. So I will forward that out to this entire group after this meeting. I just wanted to talk about it first. So that survey will be hitting your inboxes shortly. And then also a kickoff meeting, I think, Julian, right? That also is going to happen with all the different towns. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I'd love to bring the group of municipalities who both received the and the EECBG, that stands for the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, just in case folks are curious. I throw around the acronym all the time, and then I forget that, wait a second, that just lives rent-free in my mind. But the grant was kind of conditionally awarded back in late spring, and then we've been in an administrative rigmarole pretty much since. But ultimately, we did finally get word late in June that the DOE was going to proceed and that Virgins was comfortable continuing to remain as the lead municipality that will be taking care of the administrative side of the grant. So ultimately, those are the two, as been alluded to, the big action items. Although one of them I'm going to take off your plate temporarily, and that's the schedule for the kickoff meeting.
Okay.
But first, I'll get to that second. First, I'd like to talk about the survey. Um, it's a little long. Some of the questions you might not find applicable and you might not connect with. Some you might connect deeply with and you want to take a little bit longer, and that's totally fine as well. What I really wanted is to try to create multiple pathways to eliciting what's really important for Bristol when it comes to what goes in their enhanced energy plan. The survey is one tool. I'll obviously be looking at past energy planning documents as well that the town has produced. And we also included within the funding for this grant funding for, I believe we pitched it as two separate community outreach styled events. Some municipalities, for example, in my discussions with New Haven, have suggested that they might like to mix things up and have their community outreach event take place with other municipalities with whom it makes sense for them to do so. Bristol's kind of big enough that, I feel like, a well advertised event with some food and, and maybe in our fair Holly Hall, potentially, could, maybe have its own sort of standalone event. So there's that's the third pathway that, we're going to have the previous texts, the survey, and the community outreach events. And all of that's designed to, like I said, elicit y'all's opinions about what should go in there. Because it's not the same. And while there are certain requirements for what will need to go in a new enhanced energy plan, the stuff that is up to y'all might vary quite substantially even between the municipalities that are participants. And so, of course, rather than me just writing some draft that ultimately doesn't connect well with the community and heading off in the wrong direction first, I thought, let's start from the beginning with just figuring out what connects with folks when they think about their energy priorities. So that survey I think will be really helpful. Feel free to send it to anyone within either town government or the public writ large, as long as they live in the community and care about the energy future. I'd sure like to hear from them. So that link, feel free that Ben sends, feel free to distribute that. The second link in that email is for the scheduling app When to Meet. And I still intend for us to use this app as a scheduling opportunity, or rather a scheduling technology. But after some dialogue at the Regional Energy Committee meeting last night, they essentially strongly suggested that we should push the kickoff meeting for the group into September. Try to avoid folks being out of town in August, maybe beat some of this heat as well. But we're going to look at doing that. So I'll need to change the dates in the app so that it reflects, when we might actually be looking at doing so. I got a little eager. I wanted to have our kickoff meeting in August, but we said, let's be patient, and I'm happy to do that too. So I will be sending out an updated link for the When to Meet app when it is ready. you know, I'm pretty sure I have that on my schedule to do tomorrow, so I would expect that from me then, Ben. But the goal is to schedule a kickoff meeting, get the various participants together, and celebrate kind of this cool endeavor that we're doing in our communities across the region. So that's what I have in particular for the EECBG grant and the town energy plan update on my end. Of course, I'm open to questions, but I want to be mindful of y'all's time. And so, you know, if you have maybe long form questions or things like that, maybe you could email them to me and I could follow up with you in that format.
Yeah, I think I can send out the survey link to everybody, and then I was wondering too while you were saying that, can I put that on Front Porch Forum? Is that an appropriate place to do
Sure.
that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we were considering doing the same thing as well,
Okay.
putting it out for the municipalities. Maybe y'all could put it out in the Front Porch Forum on your end
Yeah,
sooner, and then we could follow back up closer to whatever community engagement event that we plan to
sure.
do, and that way
Yeah.
got multiple, you know, sort of nudges for people to do it.
Yeah, I can do it. I can, I'll send it out to this group and maybe I'll make a post like tomorrow or something and just say,
That'd be
hey, here's
great.
this, just to
Yeah.
get it in people's heads. Because sometimes I think, you see it from a community member that like, occasionally I post a lot of these agendas. And so it's like, oh yeah, that's the energy committee that's doing that. Let me look at, there may be
Yeah.
some continuity there. I don't know. But I can do that. I can definitely do that.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben.
Does anybody have any questions for Julian about this particular topic or thoughts on it at all? Anybody? Oh, oh, hi, Sally. Oh, hi, Dan. All right, I'm over here talking on it. I didn't even realize you guys were here. Okay. So I just have to take a few notes here. Okay. All right. Okay, next item on the agenda is the update on the EV chargers, the never-ending EV chargers. So the most recent information that I have on this, there's an email thread with Norwich, and what's his name?
Mm.
Barrett. He had a few questions for Ian about the length of how long the chargers will be on the property itself, and so I think the town had agreed to compensate the landowner for 5 years, and that's the agreement right now. So I think that just has to get rolled into the whatever agreement Norwich has. But as far as I know, they have not developed a one-line diagram yet. I've only really seen that, which I think we looked at a couple months ago, the site plan of it. I gotta follow up with them again. I feel like usually if I poke a few times, I get an update, but I don't really know where things stand in terms of executing that agreement. I don't know if anybody else has anything or has heard anything about it yet, or in a while, I should say. So another item for me. I'll keep pushing. I just want to know where we're at. I mean, I think it's a reasonable. I mean, at this point, but anyways,
Can I ask a question, Ben?
yes.
Is this an issue that you are having with communicating with Norwich?
They respond pretty regularly. Barrett is usually pretty responsive, but it seems like whoever, and this is where it's on my end, it's a little fuzzy because I admit I don't actually know where the funding is coming from and who Norwich's agreement is with. So is there sort of like a limitation in my understanding? Because I think maybe they're waiting on the state or they're waiting on whatever the funding mechanism is for it for them to continue to move forward. I think. I don't know if that's the case
Okay.
for sure, but that's my understanding at this point. But they're
Sure.
usually pretty responsive.
Sure. I asked just because the RPC is in the process of securing a grant to replace one of our chargers as well, and Norwich is one
Nice.
of the firms we were looking
Okay.
at submitting or looking for a bid from. So I appreciate the insight. Thank you.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're and I'm just a member of the public. I just say, hey, what's going on with this, and they usually will give me an update. So
Great.
they're good as far as I can
Thank you.
tell. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Next item is update on MERP. So it's been a couple months since we talked about MERP. I know the last big thing that I remember was that VIA got the design agreement with the town. I don't know if they have started the design. I don't know, David or Allison, if you guys know anything other than that at this point.
Well, let's see. Well, at the last event, the last meeting or event in town, um, Allison had asked Ian Albinson for a meeting with BIA, and that it would probably be a good idea that we met. And so now that they, I guess, they've already had internal meetings by that point, and Ian was aware of that, and we thought at that point, let's all meet with the town, BIA, our committee, and sort of a kickoff meeting, so to speak. I guess hopefully it's already kicked off, but that hasn't happened, and I guess we haven't really pressed it. But I think Allison and I were just speaking earlier, and we were thinking that we should probably press for that meeting to find out where they are, because we don't really know.
Yeah, I mean, in the agreement, there's there's a timeline with all the different meetings, and one of them was a kickoff meeting. And just, I'm hoping that maybe, since I'm not sure when the new town administrator is gonna start, but I'm hoping that maybe when they start, that's gonna take some of the, some of the work off of Ian's plate that he's been dealing with, and maybe he can, get more involved in this, because everybody, we all talk about it, and it's really the town's deal. We're just kind of an advisory, and it just seems like, I will admit, I'm an impatient person, and I just want to get things going. But, we were supposed to have the kickoff meeting in June, according to the agreement. So
Right.
we're almost in August.
Yeah, I mean it's tough time of year, and the town
Oh, it is.
administrator turnover, and they finally found someone, and it's like, what's the ramp up? What's the ramp up period for that person? So, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that can.
I'm cutting Ian a lot of slack. So
I think we could reach out to him though and just say, just a friendly reminder that we were going to do it, and just get a date at least, or we'll figure out a date, and hopefully that we'll get an update for the committee on what is going on and what's
Right.
happening and where we are so far.
Yeah.
The only other thing that's happened on the MERP is that we got in our Jillian reminded us that we needed to do this application. Well, actually, what is it?
It's initiating like the Vermont Historical Preservation, the Vermont Division of Historical Preservation are reviewing all MERP projects to ensure, and particularly in older buildings, that they are not violating the historical preservation statutes of the state, and so and of the country, because they also look at federal historic register buildings too. But they have a project review form, is what they're calling it, and we were able to get that in on time for Holly Hall. So there is I believe it's still being reviewed. I think it'll likely have some additional questions, since it is, an old and actually historically relevant building. But that'll be a part of the scope negotiations that take place after they've reviewed it. What mattered more is getting the review started. So, and that's what was done.
I don't know, Jillian, were you on the response, the Grace Solinsky response?
I may have been.
He just said,
I've been on several Greg responses.
yeah, he thanked us for the application and said we'll further discussions in the future. So it all looked good, at least at this date anyway, and this part of the project.
Yeah.
So.
And my interactions with Greg have been, typically very positive, pretty straightforward. I can't imagine that, there'll be problems created. I think more just from thinking about it from a historical preservation perspective, they're thinking about creating solutions to avoid their particular cause celeb, if you will, which is the preservation of the historic buildings. So that's sort of the way I've approached it. Is we have different issues, maybe not different, but similar issue sets that both have to be satisfied, which is that preservation element as well as the desire to retrofit. So it's a balancing act, but Greg has been very helpful in that, as far as I can tell.
Very good. So yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see what we hear from Ian on the kickoff meeting side of things. And you know, again, weird time of year, and but
Mhm.
I would like to second Allison's impatience, especially with this one. I know we're all thinking, oh, we've got all this time, and it's like it's already almost August of 2025. So you
Yeah.
know, the desire to keep this thing moving, I think, is definitely there. So.
Mhm. Well, and it's just the kickoff meeting now, but you know, there are going to be more important elements of the project too, and we'd like for those to be completed in a timely way. And so, setting the tone now of that expectation could be
Yep.
a good idea. I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, no, you definitely want to make sure we can set the expectations properly for sure. So I agree. Okay, I think that's everything on MERP. At least for now. Um, the next item on the agenda is the Addison County Energy Fair, which I will put my hand up and say has completely fallen through every crack in my house, and I am sorry about that. I know that we agreed as the Bristol Energy Committee to be co-sponsor or host, I guess. Maybe the same thing.
Whichever.
Yeah. And so I also saw Sally. I think Sally had forwarded in June the application for a vendor table or like a spot because it's in Virgins, right? Julian, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can do the application and we can do whatever promotion we need to do on Front Porch Forum as it builds up to it because I believe it's the first weekend in September, right?
September 6th.
Yeah,
Yes.
September 6th. So I'm actually out of town personally, but I have no problem setting up, doing the application, getting us the spot, doing all the promotion and everything. I just can't be there on the day personally.
Sure.
Um,
That's totally fine. Cheryl Brinkman, as you might be able to guess, gave me a list of things that she thought might be helpful. You know, feel free to say which you think you can reasonably contribute to, and which you know will become Jolian work, and that's okay. But one of the things, so in speaking to that vendor agreement that Sally passed along. Maybe there are other potential vendors in the Bristol area specifically who might like to participate and helping to make sure that they're aware and helping to distribute the vendor agreement to them
I
would
can
be
think of
great.
one. They make solar panels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about them. I almost.
Then maybe they're already involved, but if not, we can at least let them know.
Yeah, maybe they are, and we did send out a you know fairly
Sure,
extensive initial invite list.
sure.
But any help that we can have to grow that vendor list, I mean, the
Yeah, of
fair is going to be more fun the more people we have, like actually
course.
portraying what they do.
Yeah.
So that's one keynote that Cheryl left. We made some great flyers. I'd be happy to sneak some flyers down into y'all's area somehow. I guess probably by car. But sometime I guess is more what I mean. Uh,
Do we already have flyers for that or not yet? No,
we
we don't have any flyers for that yet, right?
we do actually. We
We
do
do?
have some. Yes. Yep. And
Okay.
we put Bristol on the flyer as well as one of the co-hosts. So y'all are included in there.
We're
Um,
committed.
so yeah, so Cheryl printed up some flyers that I helped to design, and I think they look pretty good. That's why I mentioned in part that I helped to design them. But I think they look pretty nice, and we would love some help thinking about, you know, where in Bristol would be good places to post those so that folks can see them.
I might know somebody who has a printing operation that could potentially. They're just 8.5 by 11s, Julian.
I believe I don't have them in front of me. They were the larger size though.
Okay.
They might even be a
Okay.
little bigger than that, actually, the ones, but we can print, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
we
we
can
could scale it to wherever.
page.
Yeah.
As far as putting them up around Bristol, the 8 by 11 are the easiest to
Mhm.
fit
Yeah.
in with other people's posters and on the boards. I'd be glad to help put things up if I get a hold of them.
Yep.
Kimball's is closed now, so we can't print right now, but
Yeah.
we
And
just need
and
to
if we
get
need
them.
to make more and we need some that are just, you know, normal paper size, you know, I'm sure the RPC can print up some additional ones and we
Okay.
can get creative. But Cheryl really wanted the nice big fancy posters and you know, I don't say no to Cheryl
Yeah,
on those
totally.
types of things. She's usually right 99% of the time, so I try to follow her lead. Um Next,
So how do we get those from you?
um,
We come by,
yeah, I'll try
we
to
can finish?
find a time. I'll find a time to come by. I'll just come visit Bristol and maybe if
And
where would be best? Who would does someone want to volunteer to receive posters from me?
Why don't you come by Rockydale Gardens and drop them off?
Okay. David, would you
No.
mind sending me an email with
Sure.
that business name? That would be great, just so that I don't forget it. Uh, Thank you. Um, Cheryl also mentioned that in the past they have offered raffle prizes. So if there are any businesses in the area that you think sometimes they like to give out a gift card as a promotional event. Cheryl seems to think the businesses will want to do that. You know, if some, for example, the Middlebury Co-op will give out like a small gift card for raffle type purposes for events like this. So if anyone comes to mind as a someone who would want to promote in that way in a local in a regional energy fair, we would love that as well.
I'd be glad to give a massage gift certificate.
Great. That would be terrific. That sort of thing is exactly what we're looking for, and I would probably bid on that myself because that sounds terrific.
Do you
Who
Uh,
should
have
I send
the
it to?
last time I got a massage, and let me tell you, I could use one.
someone reaching out to the co-op already? Because I have an in-house contact that can make that happen.
The Middlebury Co-op?
Yep, yep.
That would be terrific. I haven't reached out to them yet, but it sounds like you've got a much better way of approaching it than I would, which would be very ham-fisted. And I'd much rather pass that off to you, Dan, if that's
It's
agreeable.
I'd be ham-fisted too, but it's my wife and she forgives that.
Well,
And
yeah.
if we get, for gift certificates, should I send them or just bring one, or should be get it to Cheryl somehow, that kind of thing? Or what do you think?
Let me think about that. I don't have a good answer for you yet on that, Sally.
Okay.
But because it is coming up, September is, right around the corner, essentially at this point. Kind of scary, but let me think about that a little bit more, Sally. And I will get back to you. Probably the committee. I'll send a follow up on some of these things when I know more. And finally, perhaps there is a local food vendor who might really like to participate in the event. We're not trying to necessarily get, 1.5 million food trucks, but maybe there's one or two in the area that, would really like to participate and you think would well represent, the area or a restaurant that does that sort of thing. If you've got an idea for someone, we'd love to, help them out and give them a space to, distribute their product. So
What,
that
ab-
was just another
what
thing
about
that
La Chapina?
Yeah, she's in New Haven, right? I
Yeah,
think.
she's in the area. I mean,
Yeah, she's great. She goes to
I
everything
think
too. Like she
got an
literally
awesome,
goes to
yeah,
everything. So I think that
got an
would be,
awesome new food truck. So
yeah.
yeah,
Is
great.
is this in Virgins?
yeah,
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
Bridge Ends.
thought.
Although, and this is an interesting point that I'm sort of maybe extrapolating from your question. Is it is now sort of becoming a regional energy fair? I think that initially this is sort of the Virgins Energy Fair that's ballooned. At some point in the future, we should probably explore doing something like on a rotational, styled basis, because I think that would be a nice way to make it truly feel regional. But that's a conversation for another day and something to cogitate and, find a easy way to break to Cheryl. But I think this year, yeah, it's Virgin's. It's Virgin's show this year in terms of the location. But all the more reason why some of these suggestions on, helping to get the local, businesses from your area involved so that it will take on that more regional flavor. That's all I have for now. So those are the four things, just to quickly wrap them up. Distributing of vendor contracts to folks in the area who maybe want to be a vendor, distribution of flyers, identification of potential raffle prizes, and identification of local food vendors who might like to participate as well. And Ben, you're saying it's fallen through the cracks in your floor. Mine as well. I feel like I've been working on everything but this the last month. But now's the perfect time to circle back around and actually do something on it. So
Okay, great. Yeah, I think I'll talk to I think in terms of the food vendors like La Chipina, like I think Allison had said, I'll see if I can figure out how I know the farmers market coordinates with them every week. So however that's facilitated, if it's just me connecting La Chipina with you, Julian, or if it's with
sure.
Cheryl or whoever,
With me. Yeah, I'm sort of helping on the staffing side at this point, because it was initially our Eco AmeriCorps member, and then the Eco AmeriCorps people got fired. So then it became the energy planner's job. And now I'm an event planner, which is fun. But you wear a lot of hats at the
That's
RP
right.
and it's an enjoyable part of the job.
You wear them all very well, Julian. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
It's deeply kind. Thank you.
So, okay, I will see if I'm about communicating La Chipina and anybody else we can think of with you as well. I know like Holy Halva, they just opened in Bristol. I don't know if they do things or they would have like a table and a tent or something. They're a new business in Bristol. Maybe there's something there. I don't know.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're right there at the old, where Smoking Lola's used to be.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, we'll give it some thought too, and I'll let you know if I think of anything else.
Thanks.
Also, the little guy that has the little, I can't think of his name. He lives on the corner of North Street and Crescent, and he has that little white food truck that does ice cream.
Daniel Lyons?
Daniel Lyons.
Daniel Lyons.
Ice cream
Yes, I
truck
couldn't think of
would
his
be
name.
very welcome, I would think. Because September will still be toasty.
Okay, yes. And I know Daniel, yeah, wasn't he he was at like town meeting with his food truck, right, Allison?
He was.
Right? Yeah, so okay. And I think he does the other stuff. I think he maybe goes to Pocock too. So yeah, I'll see if I can pick up a contact for him as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice. All right. And I will also I will just to sort of tie the bow on that, do we as the Bristol Energy Committee, and this goes out to everybody, do we want to have our own table there too? Because I can do the application and get the table. I think that would make sense if we were there, had some presence there. Again, I can't personally be there, but reading it, it sounds like it's kind of like we're trying to get as many vendors there in the area that are local as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna be there anyway, so I could help with our table. So
yeah,
I'm gonna be there too.
The ongoing project in Holly Hall, I think, is an excellent case that could be highlighted to folks, and help them reimagine that, like, hey, this space is like coming into a bit of the energy future. Like, start preparing. I think it'd be a great way to let the community know that Holly Hall is expanding its ability to serve. So that's just one idea that comes to mind. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff that Bristol is doing, but I know I'd love to learn more about it. So
yeah, it's a great idea.
and we can talk about EV chargers.
Yeah.
Oh, don't say that, Allison. Oh, come on. We're doing so good.
Yeah.
I could bring some of the walk to shop trolleys.
Yep.
Oh yeah, those are good.
And we'll have all the button up stuff. So
right, we still have all the button up stuff. Yeah. Okay, I think that
I
makes
love
sense.
all of those ideas.
Yeah. So I just have a couple more notes here. And geez, by September we'll be thinking about buttoning up anyways, right? So okay. I think we have done a good amount on that item. The next one on the agenda, the logo design. So Dan, I don't know if we developed anything else on that, if made any modifications to it or not. I just have it as a placeholder here. Maybe we can take it off the list if you're still working on it or whatever, but
yeah, I think
if there's any updates on that.
we're kind of as we've said with a couple of things, we're in wait and see mode, but I guess what you're waiting for is me to show you something so you could see it. We did I guess it was probably the May-June timeframe, had a couple of ideas, we kicked around a little bit, and the general feedback was positive, but we wanted to see a little bit more of a local view, so to speak, in
Right.
there, and I think that's really
Right.
valid feedback. I just haven't been able to get back to it yet.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I kind of wonder whether maybe me starting to kind of get fired up again about that, because if we're going to have this energy fair event and we're going to be present for it, it might be nice to have t-shirts and
Yeah.
all the
And-
swag
Branding, yeah.
with the branding on it. So I'm willing to kind of get that fired back up again. Sally, I know that you were interested in being part of that too. That'd be great.
Yeah, I
Maybe
love
the
to.
two of us could just collaborate offline and come up with something that we can bring to this crew.
That's
Um,
great.
maybe not in the next meeting because then it'll be too late to produce stuff, but maybe we can kind of come up with something between now and then and
Yeah.
maybe via email or whatever format
Yeah.
we can through the committee.
That sounds great.
Make this thing happen before that event.
And if we did want to get something printed with it, I know I was just at 802 Print in Virginia like over the weekend, and they were telling, oh, we screen print everything, and we do. So if we were like, oh, let's do like 5 t-shirts, I don't know, whatever, or whatever, we could probably. I mean, I know they're pretty good, and I think they'd be able to help us out. So, yeah, I love that idea. I think that's great, Dan.
And
That's exciting.
isn't there also isn't there a business in Bristol that does t-shirts?
Maybe I'm not sure.
That
Yeah.
I
embroidery.
think they're associated with Honey Lights. I think it's
Oh
Yes.
yeah, Shauna's
Shauna's
daughter.
Stitches and Stitches or
Niece.
something.
niece.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that too, and maybe she might do small order.
Who is that again?
Sean, why
Shauna?
can't
Shauna?
Kayla? It used to be Kayla Flint. I can't think of what her name is now. Her married name. I'll find it out though. But she's like the granddaughter of Bonita, who owns Honey Lights.
Okay. So in that shop.
Yeah, in Honey Lights. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
you
Okay,
can get
in
a
Honey
hold
Lights.
of her
Okay,
in
great.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it would be cool if we could get t-shirts made, at least, for us, and then maybe
Yeah.
get some pins made, like,
Hmm.
Buttons
Bristol
or something. Yeah.
like swag that we could hand out. Because we could, I think, Sally, we're on the hook to have a table at the farmer's market through the end of September. So, we could always hand out pins or something
Yeah.
then if we
And we
wanted.
could promote the Addison County Energy Fair
Yes,
at the farmers market.
we
Yeah.
should do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
We could put the flyers there.
Flyers
That's
there.
it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Brilliant brainstorming. I
I
love
love
it.
this. I love this. All right. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Yeah, how do I get in touch with you, Dan? Just email? We'll
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
connect over email. Maybe we can sit down some point and
That'd be
sketch
great.
something out. And yeah.
It would be helpful.
Thanks.
I could go to Honey Lights tomorrow and just see kind of what, from a timing standpoint, like how much time they would need. Would that be helpful? That way you guys know like when your deadline kind of is.
It wouldn't
Sure.
hurt to know that. Yeah.
Great.
I can go in there
Sometimes the
tomorrow.
small batches sometimes can be done pretty quickly, but then again, if they have to
Right.
farm, they might have to farm things out. I don't know. So
Yep.
it'd be good to know. Yeah.
All right, I'll go there tomorrow and ask a few questions.
Great.
Excellent. Okay. I think that takes us through logo design, and now on to the updated. So this was another item that Richard had forwarded to me, or to everybody, I think, just before the meeting today. So Efficiency Vermont, they put out some program updates. Some highlights of that include, I guess there's some changes to income limits for bonus rebates and the sunsetting of the income eligible heat pump water heater rebates. So just some changes, I guess. And then also, I think the big ask is Efficiency Vermont is looking for feedback on their 2025 program. So if anybody has thoughts, I think as far as I could tell, Richard, it didn't look like there was a survey. It was just like, let us know, kind of just email us with your thoughts kind of thing. So very free form. So I think everybody should have that in their inbox now as well. So if you're doing the survey for Julian, it might be a good similar headspace for something to write to Efficiency Vermont as well, if you're so moved to do so.
What do you think they mean about that? I was reading it today and it says, looking at the 2025, I mean, looking at the 2025, do they mean, they're not really talking about last year's thing. They're just saying, what should we have for 2025? What should be different? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, that's my impression. I mean, they're yeah, so the specific language, this is good. We are beginning to plan for this year's button-up campaign. So meaning the button-up campaign for 25, 26, presumably, I guess, or the
So,
26.
okay, usually the campaign I always thought was in the fall, but so they're
Okay.
talking about 26. Okay,
No,
I mean, I'm speculating. I don't know.
No,
this is confusing.
yeah, I don't know. That is confusing.
Yeah,
Um,
usually we really talk about button up in the fall. That's the best time to talk about it. And I just think something's a little weird with the way that came out as if 20, like it should have said 24 there instead of
Yeah, I
25.
think they meant 24.
Yeah, me too.
yeah. Yeah, I think they're looking for ideas for this fall,
Yeah.
which is kind of late.
Well, they don't usually kick that off. I think they usually kick it off at like, like they do it a little bit late. They usually do the kickoff like the last week or the second last week of October, and then it goes through November. That's usually when they do it, but I agree it's a little bit late. Maybe that's feedback. Maybe they need to start it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really flagged over the years. We had a great button-up kickoff pre-COVID. Do you remember that, Sally?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
We had a big event with vendors
yeah,
in Holly Hall, and there's really been nothing to engage the public.
Yeah.
Things have been pretty passive.
I think that for us, we went from a couple of really good button-up things, and then we got into window dressers. Window dressers really was exciting, and that was like we got everyone on board for that. And then the past couple of years, we haven't really done anything.
Yeah.
But we've been busy with like, how do we button up our own municipal buildings? So I think we kind of went in that direction and haven't really been talking to the public. And it was hard to get the public out too.
Yeah.
So,
I think it is hard. People have heard it again and again and again. And somehow we've got to come up with something a little bit unique.
I mean, as we saw this summer, trying to get people into Holly Hall, that did not happen.
Right.
It was just us. And
Right.
it's like, it's hard to think about weatherization, especially in the middle of the summer, but
I think we'll have a good opportunity to encourage people when we have heat pumps blowing cold air in there. So I think there's that sort of like feedback loop of like, look, we've modernized Holly Hall. Look at what
That's
you can
true.
do too. And oh, while you're here enjoying this cold air, here's a piece of pizza. Why don't you learn about how you can do something in your house? Like it kind of all feeds into itself a little bit. So I think, the idea, like I wasn't around, pre-COVID and whatnot, so I can't really speak to that time frame. But I think the idea of us pivoting towards more the municipal, trying to focus on how we can engage the town and the select board to do these things, and then
Yeah.
people seeing that and going, "Wow, yeah, huh." There's that, like, you can say, "Look at look at what we're doing on these big scales. Now take this and scale it down to your house." So yeah, and yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I agree. It's tough to get. It definitely seems tough to get people to get the public engaged. That always seems to be the toughest part, right?
And to put an interesting little coda on this, a little asterisk, I think these would be great conversations to have when thinking about what goes in the energy plan as well, and thinking about the recommendations, the way the municipality is demonstrating its commitment to these types of things, wanting to have specific events, those are all types of things that can go in there. So keep those ideas fresh for that survey.
Well, this group really likes the long form conversation, so I think a long form survey is perfect for everybody here. So
good.
I think that's
There's
great.
ample space.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Good. Get your Excedrin out, Jolene, and because you're going to get some long answers.
A little cross-eyed.
If I could give a third thumb up, I would. I think that's great. So
So does that mean that each of us just do whatever we can to send information there rather
I
than
think so.
coordinate? Because
Yeah.
we're not really supposed to coordinate too much when we're not on the calls, right? Is
Yeah, I
that
think we can respond to Becca, each
okay?
of us.
Yeah, individually. Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I
great.
agree. Okay. All right, now we're into the last one, other business. Anything else we have not discussed that
I
anyone
have
wants to
one
talk
more thing.
about?
I'm so sorry.
Oh, Julian's got something. Go ahead, Julian. What do you got?
And I've been holding on to it for the other business just for this because I thought about it as soon as we kicked it out of the citizen issues, of course. But I, again, wanted to be respectful of the agenda. You will likely be receiving an invite from VCAN soon. They are restarting their November big get together for energy committee members that they have. They did it big in-person meetings pre-COVID. COVID shut it all down. They've tried to do a few virtual events since then, and it hasn't really clicked. So they're restarting it this year. That's going to be in November. But before November, there's going to be a regional meetup where VCAN would like as many energy committee members to join and offer their thoughts on different ways that VCAN can help support municipal energy committees, that I'll be there, that the RPC can better support energy committees as well, to make sure that we still have a good idea of which municipalities still have energy committees and who their members are and when they meet so that we can attend, more intelligently. So that regional event, we're looking at doing it on August 26th. That's a Tuesday. We would love it if as many of the energy members could join. If folks can't, that's obviously okay as well. But it is designed to not just be like a one representative type thing. We'd love to get the whole crew there, and there will be food, so that's always nice as well. It
Is
will
that
be
going to be at the ARC? Is it going to be at the Regional Planning Commission office? Yeah.
Yep, bingo. Which is air conditioned. Also, another big draw for late August meetings. That there will be a formal invite that goes out as well. We haven't sent that out yet, but I thought I would be remiss if I didn't just bring it up to y'all directly in advance while I had you. So, and
Do you
that's
have a
there'll be a formal invite. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
do you have a general idea of when it is during the day?
I don't think we've set a time yet, but it would be in
Okay.
the evening. It would be
Okay.
after business hours. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I don't think we've set a time, but the 26th is when we're looking on doing it. And it would be evening because the RPC will be open and working during the day. So um it would be fun to have a party in the middle of the day, but unfortunately the office space will be booked then. But yeah, evening time, or ideally on the early side as well. I think Evelyn, who will be joining us from VCAN, she lives in Burlington as well, so we wouldn't want to keep her out too late. That's for sure. Um, that's all I've got for that now. And like I said, there will be a formal invite distributed shortly as well. But might as well just tell you about it.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you. Any other business from anybody?
Yeah.
Richard, go ahead.
Um, I ran into Gary Smith the other day, and he had an interesting idea. You remember he was at the last meeting, and he heard about the EV charger project and the possibility of doing something to beautify the walkway. And he suggested that we might want to contact pollinator pathways to see if they'd be interested, which I told him I would bring it to the committee, and I thought it was a really interesting idea. Um, if if you like, I can contact Fran Putnam, um, or if you have any other um, individual. Um, but it might be kind of a way to get somebody to come take a look at the site and assess um, what what needs to be done. And David, as I'm talking, I'm thinking of Rockydale too. If Rockydale would want to be involved in that kind of project as to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm I'm just picturing the site and, you know, the amount of light that gets in there and the fact that it's a huge wall that,
Well, there
and
is
all
light.
cement on the bottom. I think it could be part of it, like on some edges, but I don't know how much actual ground there is there. It's all pretty much paved over.
So we'll
So,
have to look, we'll have to look at it. You can also do, above ground boxes and things like that.
yeah,
There's a fair amount of grass there. It's just 100 feet over there, so I go
Yeah.
past it all the time, and there's a fair amount of grass on both sides. You know, it's used for smoking, so
Yeah.
there's a thing there that
Yeah.
we'd have to consider. But you know, instead of having it get mowed every other Friday or whatever it is, turn it into something that's you know, a pollinator friendly and
Yeah.
nicer to look at. Maybe save a little bit of mowing gasoline. Possibility there.
Jim?
Isn't that Pomelou's property there? Is that what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Anybody been in touch with them?
Yeah, I think Ian has been.
Oh, that's good. Because usually
Yeah.
they're pretty good at helping out with situations like that. So if anybody hasn't contacted, it's their property, so it might be a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Good point.
Richard, if you want to meet out there with the person from Pollinator Group, we can meet you with that group, or just let us know what we can do to help.
I think a walkthrough just to get some ideas going. I mean, this isn't going to be, you know, who knows when this thing is going to be installed. So it's certainly nothing before next spring, I wouldn't think. But
Right. That, I mean, I think at the earliest, yeah, that seems at the pace this has been going, you know. But I think it's good. I think it's good to have like some community inertia around it in general, you know, just to be like, yeah, we're the people who care about this and we've thought about this and here, hey, Pomerlo, here's some ideas. And we've already talked to so and somebody else, you know, like to kind of keep it maybe, you know, kind of keep it moving a little bit as much as we can to the extent that we can keep anything moving. I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
yeah, I think we could put together a proposal and circulate it.
Yep.
I think
Okay.
this is an excellent idea.
Do we know exactly where they're planning to put it? Like, it's really not on the Wells property at all, it's Pomerlo.
No, the EV chargers are going on the Wells property.
Right. The charger is on the Wells' property, but
Okay.
the idea I think is that like you will have access to the town
Right.
to downtown via that walkway, which is Pomerlo. So
Yeah.
the walkway itself which is a little dingy. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's the part that is Pomerlo, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like it might be an easier lift to talk to the,
We lost you. You're on mute, Sally.
So you muted
I'm
yourself.
sorry, I muted myself. It might be yeah, more doable to do the agriculturally that kind of stuff on the Wells Mountain land.
Well, let's just look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's look at it.
That's great.
If it can be done, you know, it's the type of case that I'd love to put in the municipal energy plan as a best practice, you know, type of situation where you're being considerate of the energy needs, as well as, you know, thinking about the ecological, you know, functioning of the area. It's best practice, I think, in terms of having, you know, solar, for example, pairing it with pollinators. So thinking about other energy infrastructure and how it can pair with, you know, its natural setting. The more I think about it, the more excited I get about it because I think it's a cool idea. Love to see it happen.
And beautifying a downtown area.
Exactly. Saving gas on mowing. I mean, it checks a lot of boxes. I think it's
Yeah.
cool. It can happen.
Yep.
Great.
I'll put it in the survey. I'll put it in my survey response.
Richard and David, if you two go check out the site, let me know.
Okay.
I can hop on over. Takes me a minute.
Yeah, it's a
Okay. We'll do something on email and arrange a time.
co-housing abuts the whole scene.
Yeah, and we've got our own kind of design plan that integrates pollination and all that as well. So there's kind of a dovetailing effect going on there.
Cool.
Sally, what housing abuts it, did you say?
The co-housing community, which Dan is a part of, and a number of people live in that corner housing area that was beautifully designed, and it's a community of people who live there who are living in cooperative living. You know, yeah, it's a beautiful scene.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'd love to have a, prettier natural surrounding area. So, lots of benefits for the local community, I think. Really neat. Nice.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah, great idea from Gary.
Yeah.
Any other business? Anyone? Anybody? I'm hearing none. Okay. Thanks everybody. I'll type up the meeting notes and send them out to everybody. I will also send out the survey, Julian's survey, or the ACR, or the Enhanced Energy Plan survey. Definitely try to focus on that. And then, yeah, if anybody has any questions or clarifications on the notes, let me know as always. And thanks, Julian, for your time, for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. We had a lot of business to discuss, so it was good.
Yep.
I'll try to join on the 20th as well. It'll be at the same time.
Yes, same time.
Yeah, we'll have business to discuss then as well. So, but thanks for having me. I really appreciate y'all sharing your time in this meeting with me.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Ben, so much for all you do for this.
Yes.